Good morning, one and all. My name is V. Srinivasrao. Today I would like to explain MPMC subject, one more topic. So, the subject name microprocessors and microcontrollers, and it has 5 minutes of syllabus. In that, I am explaining now Unit 1. In the last presentation, I was explaining about the signal description of 8086, but it was not completed. Today, I would like to complete that signal description of 8086. If possible, uh, I would like to go through interrupts of 8086 also. Uh, in the last presentation, I was explaining this pin diagram as signal description of 8086 because 8086 is packed into 40 pin IC. Mainly, this 8086 processor can be operate as a single processor, or it can take the help of other processors to operate to give more and more functions. So that's why here the pin number 33 is known as modes of operation MN by MX bar. If MN by MX bar pin means if this pin number 33, if the signal is low signal, then it will be operated at maximum mode. If the signal if this pin is at logic high signal, then it is now operating in the minimum mode. So then what is minimum mode and what is maximum mode we will see. And by making this pin either low or high, here along with these remaining pins, pin number 24 to pin number 31, it will have some specific operations, and these pins especially called as maximum mode pins and minimum mode pins. Okay, so this is the today's topic of this presentation. So this is the some of the terminology, and this minimum mode and maximum modes of operation are part of signal description of 8086 only. But for examination point of view, this is very important topic. So I have taken this as one of the very important topic for you, minimum mode and maximum mode. What is minimum mode? There can be only one processor like 8086 or 8088 or 80186 like that. If we have only one processor in our system, it is known as minimum mode, because if I have 5 fruits, minimum means at least there should be one. That is what we call the minimum mode. So maximum mode means up to end, right? It may be 2 or it may be 3, it may be 4, like that. I can have more number of values called maximum mode. So there can be more than one processor like 8087, 8089, and controlled by bus controller 8288. So that is what we call the maximum mode of operation. So here at least we need one microprocessor, main processor, and along with that main processor we may have one coprocessor. Example 8087, it's called math processor, and 8089 is called as IO processor, right? This is called as coprocessor too. So nowadays we are having more than one coprocessor in our systems also. So for example, you take this example, this is the calculator, basic calculator, Arpat company, and this basic calculator can perform basic operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division only for basic calculations. So here only one processor is enough to perform these operations. Whereas you take this engineering calculator or scientific calculator, here, right, this calculator is having so many functions like trigonometric functions, calculus functions, fraction values functions, and so on, right? If we want to perform such kind of a complex operations, arithmetic operations, then one processor is not sufficient, right? So then we need a separate math processor. So one of the very well math processor is called as the 8087 math processor. So this is the difference between minimum mode and maximum mode of operation. So this calculator may have more than one processor inside of it. Right. So what is coprocessor? The math coprocessor was an optical add-on for the Intel 8086 or 386 486 processors to perform faster mathematical calculations. It is just an optional processor. It's not required always. But why it is required? I am going to show in terms of one more video I will show you, and it supplements the functions of the primary processor. Coprocessor, it cannot perform every time by itself, but it will supplement the functions of the primary processor to remove the burden on the CPU or the main processor. That is the main functionality. Right. So 8087 is a numeric coprocessor to work under the control of 8086 with different frequencies, 5 mega, 8 mega, and 10 megahertz. So this is what we call the maximum mode of operation coprocessor. No. So this is the relation the connections between main processors and coprocessor to operate in maximum mode. So this is the main processor 8086 or 8088, and here we are having 8087 coprocessor, and here this coprocessor and main processor are sharing the address bus and data bus, right? And this address bus and data buses are controlled by the bus controller, which is called as 8288. So this is the clock generator, and this clock and these clocks are coming from this 8284, and interrupts are given by this 8259 when it is shared by this 8087 and 8086 data is shared and operation is shared by these processors. So these are the difference between minimum mode and maximum mode. In minimum mode, there can be only one processor, but whereas in maximum mode, there can be more than one processor. If it is Mn by Mx bar pin is 1, it indicates minimum mode, and Mx by Mx bar is 0, it indicates maximum mode of operation. In both the cases, here we are having ALE pin to separate the address and data lines, whereas this ALE is applied to 8288 in maximum mode of operation, whereas in 8086 it will apply directly to the processor. Like we are having DEN by and DT bar, DEN by DT bar. Everything in maximum mode is controlled by 8288 is called as bus controller. So that is what we call the difference between minimum mode and maximum mode. In minimum mode, we are having hold and hold acknowledgement, whereas in the maximum mode, we are having recurse by grant 0, as I have shown in the pin diagram. You can go through that. So this video shows that what is the difference between with coprocessor and without coprocessor in terms of their performance. See here, they are editing one image, and how it is transforming, how faster it is transforming with and without coprocessor. You can see here in terms of their performance. So left side with coprocessor and right side without coprocessor. Right. So here you can see that at 61.5 seconds it was transformed, but whereas it was transformed only 53%. Here we are having one more example. You can see that it is performing some arithmetic operations. Here you can see that this is with coprocessor and this is without coprocessor. Right. So within 6 seconds it was completed, whereas it was 27.2% only. Within 6 seconds it was completed. You can see here one more difference also with coprocessor and without coprocessor. So this is the difference between minimum mode and maximum mode of operation. So like that, we are having so many features of this maximum mode of operations. So in minimum mode of configuration, what are the components we are having along with 8086? Along with 8086, we are having latches, transceivers, clock generator, memory, and I/O devices. right? So in this mode, all the control signals are given out by the microprocessor itself. Because I told you already, microprocessor means three functional units are there. One is ALU, second one is control unit, and third one is called as the register set. Right. So the control signals are given out by the microprocessor itself. Right. There is a single processor, and along with the 8086, we are having these these components on the motherboard itself. Right. We need latches, we need transceivers, and we need clock generator, and we need memory or I/O devices. And these devices only can give the input and can store the output and so on. So and show and store. We need I/O and memory devices. So what are the latches? Latches are generally buffered output day type of flip-flops. Latch and flip-flop are called memory storage elements, as we have studied in digital, and they are used for separating the valid address from the multiplexed address or data signals and are controlled by the ALE signal. ALE stands for address latch enable, and one latch can store 8 bit of data. So here we are having 20 address lines. So total we need 3 latches. So this is the block diagram of 8086. 8086 based minimum mode motherboard I am going to show you. Right. So this is the processor. After the processor, we need clock generator. After the clock generator, we need some latches to separate address and data. Here you can see that address is coming from the latches, and 3 latches are there, 1, 2, 3, because one latch can store 8 bit of data. Here they are giving 2 or 3. 2 why 2 means 16 bit, why 3 means more than 16. 20 address lines are there, so that's why they are taking here 3 latches. And after that, the data can be processed, data can be stored, and data can be given through these devices are called memory devices and IO devices. And here this is called, these are called transceivers, and these transceivers only can be enabled or can be transmit or receive the data to the microprocessor or from the microprocessor to the external world. That is what we call this DPBR bar and EN bar, and these are called transceivers. Transceivers nothing but transmitter and receivers, and its IC number is 74245. And these are controlled by one demultiplexer by giving some of the control signals. MRG stands for memory read, MWR stands for memory write, and IORD stands for IO read, IOWR stands for the IO write. Means how data can be called from the memory or how data can be called from the IO devices, or how data can be given to the memory, or how data can be given to the output device is called as control signals of IO and memory. Right. Once again, we will see that. Once again, we will see that how to construct the motherboard by using this minimum mode based motherboard or mono-based circuit. So I need processor, I need clock generator, I need the latches to separate address and data to the ALU. So this is called ALU, and these are the memory and IO devices, and this is the uh, demultiplexer to give some control signals of memory and read and memory write. So this is very important. CS stands for chip select, to select any one of these memories or IO devices. So this is the diagram, and here you can see that transceiver, and this is microprocessor, and here VCC. Why it is connected to VCC or ground means if it is 1 minimum mode, if it is 0 maximum mode. So I am explaining about minimum mode, that's why it is connected to logic 1 now. So here some of the notes about that one. Diagram components. Transceivers are the bidirectional buffers, and sometimes they are called as data amplifiers, and they are required to separate the valid data from the time multiplex address or data signals. So they are controlled by two signals, namely DEN and DT bar. So DEN signal indicates the direction of data from or to the processor, as I told you already. So these are all I was explained already. See here how data is reading from the memory or IO device. Here you can, it's called as read cycle time diagram. So to the performance of the processor is depending upon the clock signal. So by why? Because clock signal only can give the frequency. Frequency means a particular time period. Means to know the speed of operation, we should have the clock signal. So here clock signal, to perform one operation we need 4 clock signals, and in between T3 and T4 clock signals, right, we are having TW. TW stands for wait state. Sometimes when the signal is testing to continue the execution, then we need this wait signal. That's what is called as TW. And here, first to give the address or data, we have to enable the ALE. So it is called as ALE. ALE stands for address latch enable. If ALE is 1, it gives the address, and if ALE equal to 0, so this one up to this is called as 0, and this is called as 1. Right? If this is 0, right, if it is 0, it gives the data, and if it is 1, it gives the address. So when it is 1 for the first time clock cycle of T1, you can see here it is giving the address of A19 to A16 or A16 to A19, and from this logic 0, it is giving S3 to S7 because these are multiplexed address and data lines. And now, sorry, multiplex address and status lines, and here these are the address and data lines, multiplex address and data lines. So here when AL is 1, it is giving A0 to A15, and when AL equal to 0, it is giving D0 to D15. So that's why here it is giving here D0 D15. Here bus receive from data means when it is reading means it is reading data from the memory or data from the IO devices. So that's why here when AL equal to 0, there is some gap to because after fetching that address location, then only it can read the data. So then that's why this bus receive from data has given. So RD bar means reading of the signal must be low. So here to read the data, so address is here 1 means inactive, 0 means active because it is bar. So here this bar up to this data is completely red. It is low. Low means active because of bar or complement. And here DN bar means data enable bar, whether it is reading or writing. If it is 1, it will write data. If it is 0, it will read the data from the process to the processor. So DT by R bar is low. R bar means DT by R bar means data transmitter receive. Reading means receiving. So R bar is there. So that's why this is also a low signal. So this is what we call the read cycle timing diagram. Very, very important for the examination point of view. So once again we will see, right, read cycle or write cycle timing diagram of minimum mode or maximum mode is very important. So to read or write the data, we need 5 clock cycles. Between T3 and T4, we are having a TW. So this TW is called as wait time or wait state, and this is ALE equal to 1 when it is 1, as I have given in the 8086 pin diagram. If AL equal to 1, address, and if AL equal to 0, data. See here, from here to here, it is address line is 1, and from here to here address is 0. So that's why first we have to go to that location to get some address to data. And suppose I want to take my money from my pocket, so I have to put my hand in my pocket. So this is my address. In this pocket I can get my money. Money is my data. Okay, so that is what we call address. So here 8086 is having address lines, data lines, and status lines are merged or multiplexed. So A16 to A19 and S3 to S7 along with BH are multiplexed. So that's why here it is separated with the help of ALE. And after that we need A0 to A15 address lines. And if ALE, when ALE equal to 1, address lines, and if ALE equal to 0, data lines. So how to read the data? So to read the data, the signal at RD must be low signal. Right? And DN and DT bar, data transmit and receive, transceivers are helps to read the data or write the data through this circuit. So here, how it will read the data or how it will write the data from the memory or IO is, this table helps. Suppose I want to read the data from the IO, then IO bar must, M by IO bar must be 0. So when it is 0, how to select IO? Because IO bar means 0 means active and 1 means inactive. So here it is 0 means M is inactive and IO is M is inactive and IO is active. So it selects IO. Next, how it will read? Because the signal is 0. This signal is 0 means 0 bar means 1. 1 means active. Here it is 1. 1 means 1 bar. 1 bar means 0. It is inactive. Like that, the data can be read from the IO devices. So this table shows that, the syntax shows that how to transfer the data, how to read the data, how to write the data from the memory R to the memory R, from the IOR to the IO. So these are the steps. Apply clock with 4 states to clock generator, enable ALE, and then send signals to CS to select memory or IO devices. During T2 state to T4 state, here S3 to S7 are available through A16 and A19. And after selecting the address from T2 to T4, data write the data, and after that DEN and DT bar will be applied through data transmit and receive signal from 8086 microprocessor. So these are some of the points, and this is the minimum mode write. So here you see the WR bar. So WR bar means writing the data. When writing the data, this must be logic high. Writing means from the 8086 to external devices. So that's why here it is transmitting. Transmitting means DT by R bar. DT by R bar means if this is 1, if this is 1 means T equal to 1 and R bar equal to 1. R bar equal to 1 means it is bar means 0 means low, but it is transmission is active. So this is the timing diagram for minimum mode write diagram, and same operation of minimum mode read diagram. Only here the difference is the place of read I have tried write, and in the place of DT by R bar I have tried logic high signal. So this is the minimum mode diagram once again, and these are also I have taken some of the points following steps how to read and write the data. These will also help you. And this is the right timing diagram, and this is the maximum mode configuration to support multiprocessor mode. So these are the difference between minimum mode and maximum mode. So in this maximum mode, as I told you in the previous presentations also I have given, in this maximum mode configuration for 8086, right, everything is controlled by the one controller which is called as 8288. So this 8288 is a bus controller, and except this 8288 in the place of DA multiplexer, they are taking 8288 here because more number of controlling functions are required. So demultiplexer is not enough here, so that's why they are taking 8288. So this 8288 I'll show you. Along with that 8288, we are having latches to separate the address and data, right? So here we are having data transfer transceivers and memory, and peripherals means IO devices here we are having. So the same diagram of minimum mode here we are having along with this bus controller. So this bus controller is having system bus means address bus, data bus, and control bus signals. So uh, these are the some of the equipment of maximum mode. So in the maximum mode configuration, along with 8086, we are having coprocessors. The coprocessor is the second processor in the system. In this two processor does not access the bus at the same time. One thing we have to remember, bus cannot be shared by the two processors at a time. If main processor is busy, then only coprocessor will come at the picture and do the operations. So this is the bus controller pin diagram. So here you can see that at clock and status signals S0, S1, S2, and VCC, and memory or IO read and write, data enable, DT by R bar, and these are all connected to 8086 pins where they are available. So this is the bus controller of 8288 IC to 8086 to control the different pins of 8086. So in 8086 maximum mode of operation, how to read and write the data in a minimum mode, right? The data read and write done by the read signal and write signal of minimum mode configuration. But whereas in the case of 8086 maximum mode of operation, here we are having three pins S0, S1, and S2. That you can see here, 8086 bus controller also. These pins are available 80. 8288 S1, S0, S1, and S2. These three pins are connected to pin number 25, 26, 27 of your microprocessor pin diagram. Here 26, 27 and 28 S0, S1, S2, and they will be operated through this syntax programming structure of 000. Then it gives interrupt acknowledgement. 001 read IO port, 010 write IO port, 100 instruction fetch from memory, 101 read from memory, 110 write to memory. But whereas in the case of this 8086 minimum mode, we are having separately. Readings is separate, write pin is separate, M by IO pin, this is to select either memory or IO, and here we are having interrupt acknowledgement, and here we are having address latch enable. Whereas in the case of maximum mode, these three pins S0, S1 and S2 are helping us to read the data from IO or to write the data from IO to the IO, or to read or write the data from to the memory. So these are the pins S0, S1 and S2, and to fetch the data one by one or byte by byte from the memory. Here we are having two signals, PS0 and PS1, that you can see here, pin number 24 and that's why here I am giving this brackets here. So pin number 24 to 31 will explain whether maximum mode of operation or minimum mode of operation. That is what we call the CQ status. So this is the memory read timing diagram in maximum mode of operation. See, right? I need a clock signal. I need a ALE signal, same as minimum mode. But here to decide this IO or memory, first we have to take activate the S0 to S2, either 0000 to 111. Then it will take the address and data, right? With respect to this ALE, either 0 or 1. See, when AL equal to 1, it is giving the address, and when AL equal to 0, it is giving S3 to S7 or D0 D15. Whenever, then whatever the functionality is to be executed, that will be given here with respect to ALE. So then suppose it is the heading is memory read, so then I have to take MRDC. If it is memory write, then I have to take MW, right? MWRC, right? If it is IO, then I have to take IORC, and if it is IO write, then I have to take IOWR. That is IO read and IO write. Next, if it is reading, then DT by R bar must be 0. If it is writing, then DT by R bar must be 1. So this is this is the question paper belongs to May 2017 of ECE microprocessors and microcontrollers, and this question was asked that explain signal description of 8086 microprocessor. So that's, and draw the timing diagram used for minimum mode of chip diagram of microprocessor. So minimum mode read or write timing diagrams they are asking. So that's, this question is also very important. And we will see one more topic, which is interrupts. Right? What is an interrupt? First, let me explain. If two members are discussing, suppose for example, person A and person B, right? And person C came and he is having some work with person A. Then what he will ask? He will ask the permission, excuse me. At least he will say that sorry for the interruption, and then the person A and person B temporarily halt their execution and their conversation. Then person C will conversate with person A, and he will complete with his work within less time, and he will come back again. Then person A and person B will try to communicate again their conversation. This is the need of interrupts. Right. Otherwise, we should not go directly with to the person and should not conversate. That is not correct. So that's why to conversate like that, here 8086 pin diagram is having three pins: NMI, INTR, and INTA. What are these pins indicates that we will see, and these pins along with the hold acknowledgement, RQ by GT0 and RQ by GT1 are called as the interrupt pins. See here, I am giving the definition of interrupt. Interrupt is the method of creating a temporary halt during program execution and allows peripheral devices to access the microprocessor, and this operation will be executed by interrupt service routine programming, which is a short program to instruct the microprocessor on how to handle the interrupts. Okay, you understand? So interrupt is the method of creating a temporary halt during program execution. So this is also one more definition of interrupt. Right. So how to create the interrupts here? There are three methods. One method is by peripherals. Interrupts can be generated. Right. You are putting the pen drives. You are putting the earphones. You are putting the headphones to the CPU. Then interrupts will be executed. Then by an internal signal generated by a special instruction in the program. Right. Some programs automatically executed internally. Then it will be executed by an internal signal generated due to an exceptional condition which occurs while executing instruction. So this topic we will see later. So I want to stop here and thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.